It seems there's no shortage of skilled and talented artists who have been put on mass blocking lists for no good reason. Lists shared under the pretense, for example, of harassment protection or prevention, encouraging people to utilize them as a form of self-defense. But in practice, deliberately or not, these lists act as a method of social media ostracism for wrong thinkers, and in the case of artists, wrong makers. There are plenty of problems this can unfairly cause for people who rely on exposure, spread, and reach for what they do, artists being a good example. And it could even be an obstacle in terms of potential clients trusting these lists and simply not hiring out of wariness due to their name being on one. Then there's also the issue of how what a block means is developing. Some people, including some politicians, I talked about one a couple videos ago in fact, are pushing for blocks to be viewed as a universal request that you not contact that person. So just imagine the harm that could cause to someone's career if important people in an industry they work in or aspire to work in utilize these kinds of lists and cut them out of the running because they've been put on one. Anyway, I've gone over this before, and it's because of these kinds of problems that I've started the Blacklist Collection to highlight artists on these lists, in support of them, and as a fuck you to those who use, maintain, and support these tools. This month's artist is triangleDAYS, and she's on both the GG Autoblocker list and the Blockbot block list. So, really dangerous. Clearly. I asked her if she'd write something, and she did. So I'm going to read that to you, and while I do, some of her work will be on screen. Hi Tim, I'm sorry it's taken so long for me to write my little piece. I knew kind of what I wanted to say, I just didn't know how to say it. I suppose I'll start with who I am. My online name has been triangleDAYS since mid-2008, and I first used this alias on an art website called Tigaki. It was a small community, so sometimes drama happened and everybody kind of knew everyone else's business, and in the end I had to cut myself off from a few people who were toxic, written with a tilde on either side. However, my time on Tigaki made me kind of paranoid. I worried that the people who didn't like me might try and ruin my reputation wherever I went, as it always seemed like whatever circle I was floating in, these few people were there too. So I made a new online name, Remdraws, in order to kind of rebrand myself in case I became blacklisted. Having been put onto the Gamergate block list for no other reason than following a few chosen people, it made me nervous, and I toyed with rebranding myself to my Remdraws name. I really want to make comics sometime in the future, and being on a block list means that a lot of people aren't going to see my tweets about said comic. What if someone who has me blocked likes the comic and then goes to my Twitter and realizes I'm on a block list? What would they think of me? All these things run through my mind quite often. Since coming out as Pro GG, I have lost a lot of followers. These followers were other artists who knew me from Tigaki and knew me from Tumblr. Some artists who I'd just started forming friendships with over Twitter and the occasional Tumblr message. It really upset me. I received a few comments about being Pro GG, but it seemed like the majority unfollowed me because I had the wrong idea about feminism. I've even had artists talk to me excitedly 1 minute and then unfollow me the next day because I've talked to someone from GG. It even, sadly, happened with a Twitter account that supports and promotes comic artists. They subtweeted about me later, saying they'd never follow people who'd align themselves with misogynists and harassers. I felt like I couldn't have my own opinion on anything. On feminism, on GG, even on which artists I thought were good and which I thought were not. I felt very stifled and also a little stressed. I worried a lot about my future as an artist online. The people I tried to form friendships with, these artists could ultimately tell their friends and followers not to read my comics, because I'm the wrong kind of person, wrong kind of woman, the wrong kind of artist. As you can see, I'm kind of an anxious person. I worry a lot about things, and being on the GG Blockbot is definitely one. I don't like being labelled as a harasser. I've never harassed anyone. I've had the occasional Twitter spat with people, but never anything sinister. So I take umbrage with the labels that Randy Harper has applied to myself and everyone added to that bot, with no evidence other than, you follow X, Y, and Z, or you're Pro GG. We're all labelled as sexist, misogynistic, harassing pieces of shit. The design I created for the Harmful Opinions channel is kind of an accumulation of all the crap we've been wading through this past year and a half. I wanted to draw a sexy lady. It turned out to be a sexy demon lady. Why? because I love drawing sexy ladies, sexy monster ladies, sexy anything. Which is why a lot of the cover that poor female character up makes me laugh, then scratch my head, then get a little annoyed because I and a lot of other women I know enjoy drawing or gaming as beautiful sexy ladies. The character has been gagged because that's how I felt and how the gaming industry has been. Censorship has been on the rise, not only creatively, but your own opinions too. As I stated, I've felt the pressure to gag my own opinions and conform in order to still be accepted by certain people. PC culture and the culture of being offended is really taking its toll. Lastly, the character's hands are bound. Her hands are literally tied. As an artist who relies on the internet for my career, I, again, feel those pressures about stating my opinion, standing my ground on my own ideas, stories, characters, etc. versus being silent and scared because I don't want to be ruined. I don't want to get a bad reputation. I don't want to be blacklisted. But I just can't be something I'm not. And I don't believe that people should be pressured to conform to anything, be it about an ideology such as feminism or creatively, like what Anita Sarkeesian, etc. are doing with the gamers industry. So yes, being on the Blockbot is incredibly shitty as an artist. I still have that other username waiting to go, and I'm probably going to use it as my professional artist handle. However, I have to say, the friendship and support I have had from the Gamergate community has been incredibly warm and overwhelming. I've only met a couple of bad eggs, and they weren't even that bad. Friendships were formed with ease, and everyone's been so encouraging in regards to my art, which has given me a boost in confidence and also the motivation to finally start some mini comics. In the end, I have to think, do I really want an audience who would rally against my creative ideas because they don't conform to what they want? Not really. I'm so thankful for the crowd of people who talk to me now, and I hope to continue these friendships long into the future. Days. So that is triangleDAYS. Who she is, her thoughts on block lists and pressure, and why she made her design for the Blacklist Collection the way she did. As with the last Blacklist Collection design, this is going to be available on t-shirts for 2 weeks through US and EU Teespring campaigns, and there are links in the description if you're interested. If you're not, then I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you'll go check out the rest of her work. Links to that in the description too.